A Course in Carols song number 24 is The Rocking Carol. This is a traditional Czech carol. The English translation has the delightful "We will rock you, rock you, rock you" in it. Anyway, I did change that just a tiny little bit to be "We will gently rock you, rock you." But you can sing the original translation if you want. "We will rock you, rock you, rock you." Anyway, this is actually a lullaby. And it is in the key of D. So we have D, E7, which normally isn't in the key of D. And then we have G and A. Okay, it really works well with this E7 in here. Okay, and then we are going to transpose up to the key of F. So on the first time through, I'm going to sing "Snugly round your tiny form." But on the second time, there at the end, I'm going to do "Darling, darling little man." And that transposes us into the key of F rather seamlessly, which is oftentimes a hard transposition to make and to hear in our ears, because we're just stepping up a half step from the E in the A chord to a F in an F chord that's going to be our bass chord for the next key. So we're going to repeat the first verse and do F, G7, B flat, and C as our chords once we get there. Okay, here we go. 1 and 2 and little Jesus, sweetly sleep, do not stir, we will lend a coat of fur, we will gently rock you, rock you, we will gently rock you, rock you, see the fur to keep you warm, snugly round your tiny form. Mary's little baby sleep, sweetly sleep, sleep in comfort, slumber deep. We will gently rock you, rock you. We will gently rock you, rock you. We will serve you all we can, darling, darling little man. Little Jesus, sweetly sleep, do not stir, we will lend a coat of fur, we will gently rock you, rock you, we will gently rock you, rock you, see the fur to keep you warm, snugly round your tiny form, snugly round your tiny form. All right. So I didn't notate in there, but I did do a tag, which is basically just adding the last phrase of the piece back on again to say, hey, here we are. We're at the end. You can clap for us now, right? So let's talk about the chords really quick. We've got our D. I like to use this version of D, but this version of D would work just fine and actually might be a little bit easier. Okay, so the 2-2-2-0 might be a little bit easier if that's the one you're used to, going to the E7 and the A, right? Okay. Now the E7 we haven't done before in this series, so it's a first finger, first fret on the fourth string, second finger, second fret on the third, and then third finger, second fret on the first string. I find this to be an extremely comfortable chord. It is just so easy to put my fingers into this position. And then we have our G, which of course we've talked about before, has many different ways you could finger G. What's the one I'm missing? Yeah, there it is. Right? So there's at least 4 different ways to finger a G chord in root position. And then we have our A chord, which is first finger, first fret on the third, second finger, second fret on the fourth, right? And then if we flip over to the key of F, we've got our F chord, first finger, first fret on the second, second finger, second fret on the fourth. We've got our G7 where we pivot, keep that first finger there, and then put our second finger on the second fret of the third, and our third finger, second fret on the first. Then we've got our B flat I like to bar across. This is a 3, 2, 1, 1 as far as the numbers go. So you're going to do barring across, second finger on the second fret of the third string, and third finger, third fret on the fourth string. Some people like to do this as a partial bar. To me, this is incredibly uncomfortable with the size of my hands, but with your hands, maybe it's awesome. And then C, of course, third finger, third fret on the first string, or sometimes pinky, depending on what's coming before or after it. Let's talk about this kind of gentle down up, chink up, swingy strum that I did. I've talked about chinks before, but it's good to review. So a chink is not a chunk. A chunk takes all four fingers and makes this kind of a sound, right? I find chunks to be a little bit cumbersome, and so I actually prefer to do what I call a chink. And basically all you do is you take the fleshy part of your palm. If you look down here, the lower right-hand corner of the screen, fleshy part of the palm against the strings, and then I flick across with my first finger, and that's it. That's all I do. Now, to me, that's more than enough percussion sound. I don't need to smash my ukulele every single time with 4 fingers in order for me to get the sound I want, right? And it is a lighter sound, right, than a true chunk is. But I can get this going so fast, right? And I don't require speed in this one, but this is a light lullaby type carol, not a heavy we will rock you. It's not that one, right? Okay, so I don't know how much I want a big heavy sound on it, right? So, we will gently rock you, rock you. That's more than enough percussion sound for me. And what we're simulating is the beats 2 and 4 that you generally hear on a snare drum in popular music. Okay, now this can be done very lightly, but it can also be done very heavily if you decide to do the chunk instead of this chink. Now, so you're just chop with the fleshy part of your palm, you flick and click, 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 click. It's very important though that the fleshy part of the palm gets there before your finger does, because otherwise you get a staccato, a really short staccato. And that's not what we're going for. We're going for a pure percussive noise. Okay? And so that's really all there is to this carol in that transition. So, and then I'm just swinging it very lightly. So it's little Jesus, sweetly sleep, do not stir. Now you'll notice though that I am transitioning those second chords in each measure a half a beat early. I'm doing them on the ups, and so that's so I don't have to do a reiteration and skip my chink, right? And so we get this effect. We get E7, A on the up. G, D, A, D. And that gives it more of a swingy jazz feel. I know that's not the original intent of this carol. But I really love this marriage of this lullaby with sort of a swingy jazz feel to it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Keep practicing your ukulele and spread some Christmas cheer. Until next time.